viewers, welcome to a weekly State of Affairs program here on QTV Gambia. My name is Ousainou, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. Well, this week we are honored to host one of the Gambia's most distinguished political figure, a lawyer, statesman, and veteran politician. I'm referring to Mr. Ousainou A.N.M Darboe, leader of the United Democratic Party. Well, as the main opposition party, and arguably the UDP has indeed played a crucial role in shaping the Gambia's political landscape. However, it has, equally faced some allegations of, running on tribal politics and, of course, putting self above national interest, something the party has always denied. Well, with the 2026 presidential election getting nearer and significant national issues at stake, we will delve into the challenges and vision of the United Democratic Party, the state of the nation under President Barrow's leadership, and what lies ahead for the country. Honorable, thank you so much for agreeing to give us your time to be on the program this week.
Thank you for hosting me.
I think the last time I had you was in July 2021, and I'm quite honored to have you once again.
My great.
Well, to start with, recently, you held your party's Congress. Could you start by telling us, what were the key takeaways from the Congress?
Well, the Congress we held in the last week of December last year was in fulfillment of not only the requirements of our own constitution, but also of the electoral laws of the Gambia, that every 2 years political parties are enjoined to hold congresses to discuss issues that are pertinent to the party and issues affecting the running of the party. We had decided in our January Congress that the biennial congresses will not be elective, but the congresses that will be held every 4 years will be elective congresses. So this last Congress was one I would call one of a reporting Congress, where the Secretary General took the opportunity to inform the party membership of the activities of the party since our last Congress, and of course the way forward for the party. Of course, no significant resolutions were passed because I believe because it being a non-elective Congress, so we didn't look forward to having any significant resolutions passed. But we also presented the financial statement of the party, because if people are entrusted with the assets and finances of any organizations, it behoves those who are put in that position of trust to report to the membership of the organization how their assets, how their finances have been handled in the past 2 years, and this we did. And of course, we'll be submitting an audited financial report to the Independent Electoral Commission. Yeah.
You mentioned, the issue of changing the elective Congress from 2 years to 4 years. Could you share with us what was responsible for that?
Well, we thought that really holding elective congresses every 2 years is rather expensive, and of course, maybe it also does not give the executive that was elected, it does not give them much time, because just 2 years, it doesn't give them much time really to shape the affairs of the party in the way that the members would want. There would be changes, in leadership positions, and when I say leadership position, all the elective offices, and we do not think that it augurs well with stability, internal stability of the party, as well as with continuity of thinking, because a national organizing secretary has an idea of how he wants to operate as an organizing secretary to take the party to victory, whether at the presidential, national assembly, or local government elections. Now, you elect him, and just 2 years between, he's changed. Yeah. So the new one that comes in comes with probably a completely different idea. So we thought that look, for us to have really, if I may call stable thinking, elective offices should be every 4 years.
One will even say 2 years might be very short.
It is short for anyone, any impact. Yes.
Yes, like I said, prior to the Congress also, you embarked on a tour. I mean, you went around the country to engage, Gambians. I mean, in one of your interviews, you described the tour as the defection tour.
Yes, the tour I went on had already been prearranged because every year we come out with a program of events for the whole year. Okay. And this tour happens to be one of those program of events in the party's activities, calendar of activities. We did make a provision for the National Organizing Committee to have countrywide tour, for National Assembly members to have tours. It didn't have to be countrywide tour, but then we limited them to regions so that they would go to region A and interact with our membership in region A, not only our membership, but also with the communities of that region as parliamentarians. And then in another quarter, they will move to another region. Youth Wing also does the same thing. And in fact, the activities of the Youth Wing has been more frequent than any of the other organs of the party because they crisscross in the country all over. So it was not an event that was just conceived at one time, but it had already been prearranged. In fact, next month, in February, when we hold our executive committee meeting, we will draw up the program of activities for the whole of 2025. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, how successful was it in terms of the turnout and the engagement with Gambians?
Well, usually I like this. I like people to assess these things for us, because as the person who has been on the tour, I don't want anybody to think that my reasoning or my assessment lacks objectivity. So I like people who have not gone on the tour but have been watching us to see it. But then, on the whole, however, whatever criticism one might have that is being subjective view, I think it has been a resounding success. People were eager to really see their Baba. People were eager to see their lawyer Darboe. From Barra to Kantora, the other side of the river, from Crow to Kartong. People are eager to see us. And we discussed the affairs of the country. In some instances, these people we think are uneducated, they lead the discussions because they know how much suffering they are going through. So they just validate what we say. And I was very impressed that Gambian voters, the ordinary Gambians, are really very conscious of what is happening around them, and they really know the issues that are affecting this country, and they know how the politics of this country should be run and should be managed. In Ker Mahalima, in Nyamina, young man, around Mahmoud Fana, young man said, look, we are not going to beg for anything because we shouldn't be begging. What we should be doing is to organize ourselves, make sure that we change this government for the good of the country. We cannot go and ask you politicians, give us this, give us that. No, that's not the time to do that. We should ensure that we have a government in place from which we can make demands, but not from you politicians. That really impressed me. Because sometimes the impression is that, look, you have to give me something. Yeah. But that thinking, that really resonated well with me, and I thought that really these are the type of young people, and we consider them as uneducated, but very intelligent. And these are the type of people that you really want to trust with the running of the affairs of the party at the local level.
Like I said, let me just bring you back to the issue of defection. I mean, how significant was this defections from across the country?
Well, it has great significance because it swells our numbers. And what I find about this is that, we are not just banding figures. People appeared physically. And in one or two places, Al-Kalul spoke at our rallies and showed show the allegiance to UDP, pledge the allegiance to UDP, imams, which was really never heard of. Because I think that Alcala will say, look, I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
And as Alcala. But this particular Alcalos, they didn't care. They thought that they were Gambians, and as Gambians, they have a stake in this country, so their voices must be heard. And if anything untoward happens to them in it, be it.
So that confirms that Gambians are now free to express their association with the opposition without any fear of
yes. That is they feel that that is how it should be, because they fought for it. It's not donated to them. Gambians fought for it. So nobody has donated this liberty, this freedom to the people of the Gambia. They made sure that it happened.
And like I said, 2026 is getting nearer and nearer. I mean, how is the UDP preparing for the next election?
Well, certainly we are getting ourselves ready. In fact, we have always been getting ourselves ready. I mean, when we did not prevail in the 2021 presidential elections, we started the preparation. And that preparation, you can see the results of it in the parliamentary elections. You could see the results of it in the local government elections. And that preparation is on. And we are just fine-tuning, the rough edges here and there, to ensure that there are no hitches in our campaigns.
So what have we been getting right? Like you said, I mean, in the presidential election, we saw the NPP polling 53%, UDP 28%, but subsequently in the local government elections, I mean,
we became more vigilant.
Exactly. So what strategies?
We became more vigilant.
Okay. What do you mean by you become more vigilant?
Well, we ensured that our votes, we are protected. We really became more vigilant to ensure that nothing untoward happens during the elections. Yes. So
are you saying there were some issues regarding the elections, malpractice, or?
Well, the election malpractices, certainly that happened in 2021. We made sure that did not happen in the way it happened in 2021. I mean, if you look at some video recordings, people in Banjul who went out with their sacks and with their money, thinking that they can buy people, we followed them foot to foot. In Serakunda here, the same thing. And of course, the ruling party, I would call them, thugs, assaulted some of our members who have organized vigilante groups to make sure that these rogues do not get into the homes of the poor people and entice them with money. We made sure that didn't happen.
So whose fault is it, or whose responsibility is it to make sure this thing doesn't happen?
Well,
during elections?
In the first place, I think it is the responsibility of every politician, because we should be able to tell the electorates what should and what should not happen during election times. If we avoid the don'ts during election times, then everything will be okay. But it is responsible for all of us. It cannot just be the opposition, government, and everybody. We should all be preaching the don'ts and be promoting the do's.
And after this whole thing, I mean, you followed the due process. You are a lawyer, I mean, well-respected lawyer in the country. You challenge this thing at the Supreme Court, but you lose.
But what do you expect? As you said, you're a well-respected lawyer. Yeah. What do you expect from a well-respected lawyer? You cannot take to violence. That has never been the mantra of UDP. UDP has always said, respect the law, abide by the law. Whatever happens, that is what you must do. We know nothing better than following the law, because that is our core value, respecting the law and the constitutionalism, advancing it. Anything short of that runs contrary to our values.
And what will you say are the main challenges facing the UDP today, both internally and externally?
Well, I do not see any internal challenges facing the UDP. And of course, externally, I wouldn't even call them challenges, you know. I think that those are the usual political talk, you know, that we face, you know, or, you know, your Lawyer Darboe is this, Lawyer Darboe is that, you know. But forget, no, what I'm happy about, they would all say Lawyer Darboe this, Lawyer Darboe that, but they would never tell you that this particular issues being promoted by UDP is not viable and not in the interest of the Gambia. None of the politicians, none of those who are, who are not members of United Democratic Party and who really do not also wish to see United Democratic's political ascendancy to continue, none will tell you. But then they'll tell you, Lawyer Darboe, I'm a wasa.
And how, I once asked you this question in 2021. When you sit back and you hear some of these, you know, claims or some of these statements being directed at you, with all what you have gone through, you know, within the UDP, going to jail and all those things, how does it make you feel? Do you sit back and say, I think I should just let go?
Then I would have failed if I think so. Then I'm a complete failure. If those would make me go back, then I'm a complete failure. In fact, that would make my resolve greater, my determination greater. To falsify them, to show that all that they are saying is all false. And thank God, you know, it does not stick and cannot stick. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had my brother, Ahmad Ba. I'm sure you heard it, what he said about Lawyer Darboe. That is, I think that's the absolute truth. That he has done everything for this country, he has gone to jail for this country. That is the absolute truth. But then, you know, when it really comes to demonization, mudslinging, you'll say something different. But it doesn't bother me, and I don't think it should bother me. In fact, it makes me better determined that really want to prove to the Gambian people that we are the people who deserve to be given the mandate to really run the affairs of this country. And I tell you, you know, when I point to the few months that we had in the government, you know, the impact we had in government on the lives of the Gambian people. Well, they'll tell you that, yes, President Barrow appointed the minister, gave it the opinion, absolutely.
Yeah, and they will say you were acting on his behalf, even when you were vice president.
Do I disagree? Do I disagree? I do not disagree. I said, look, he appointed me. And by appointing me, I had the opportunity. But then we are saying that how many people has he appointed, given the opportunity, and did the way we did things? How many? He appointed Ahmad Sani as Minister of Finance. And when it came with the vehicle policy, this government was going to save $300 million. And you know how much, if you apply that in the social sector, how much impact that would have on this country?
But why is it not implemented?
Good question. Why is it not implemented? Good question. It's not being implemented because some people thought that it would have some political consequences. And I do not think, really, having obtained the mandate of the people, that really going to deliver, going to do things that will really impact positively on the lives of the people, you know, you should go ahead and do it, and you should be able to explain to them why it is necessary for you to really take such a decision and also to implement it. You are doing it not because you want to hurt anybody, but because you want to save the nation. You want to do something that will be more beneficial to the country. That 2 or 3 years after, you will see the beneficial results of this action that you think currently is not in the interest of the Gambian people.
But you have come under, you know, attack. I mean, some people allege that, you know, you were in the system while undermining President Barrow. How do you react to that?
Well, I wish, okay, Mr. Sisi, again, you know, again, all these are political talks.
Yeah.
You see, if I had undermined President Barrow in any way, himself or his acolytes would have gone out and say, this is what he did, this is what he did. But you would never hear anyone say, this is what Mr. Darboe did to undermine the president. In fact, I'll tell you, on the 5th of November, 2018, President Barrow, myself, and a mutual friend, we sat at his residence in Fajara, and I played out my plan. I said, you know what, President, I want to have your personality, international personality, molded. And Mr. President, I want to make sure. Then the Joint Commission had already been established. I think the TRRC Act has also passed. You know, some of those issues that will really cleanse us as a nation, give us a better image, you know, was being embarked on. I said, look, when it comes to democratization and so forth, I think we are doing reasonably well. Now it should be fight against corruption. And I think when we do that, you will qualify for the Mo Ibrahim Award. That I said that I had assigned myself to do for him as foreign minister. So when these people who have nothing to say this type of thing, it doesn't bother me. And honestly, if I had done anything to undermine President Barrow, he would have said it. Knowing what type of person he is, he would have said it. Or in my letter, relieving me of my responsibilities as vice president, he would have so said it. If I had been undermining him, I don't think he would have promoted me from foreign minister to vice president. but you know, this is what I'm saying, that you don't, these gentlemen, and I use the word gentlemen with greatest respect to them, have nothing to say against us, against me.
So
they cannot say anything that is would show that, you know, what we stand for, our values, are not what Gambians really need. So they just have to concoct stories around me. And when they do, I laugh. I say, well, here they come again.
So what will you say to those that will say, okay, I think Mr. Darboe has tried several times and he still can't win elections. I think it's high time he step aside and give opportunity to another one to, you know, stand on behalf of the UDP.
You see, UDP has given me the opportunity. And UDP is the vehicle or is the party that gives opportunity to other people. I do not determine, and I cannot determine who should be the candidate for the United Democratic Party. It is the party that determines that. And of course, I can of course decide that, look, I do not want to, you know, run again. That is entirely my prerogative. And the point is that, you know, when people talk, well, it's not giving chance. Is it time for elections? Is it time for candidate selection? You know, I think that those questions will become more relevant in 2026, when UDP opens applications for members of the party to apply for adoption as flag bearer.
But in the event you choose to give chance to another person, I mean, what will you be looking out for in any possible successor of Mr. Darboe?
Well, I'll certainly be looking forward to a person who is very accommodating, okay, who is tolerant, who is not impulsive, full of sense, and can really work under pressure. Yes, I'll certainly be looking for that. I'm not saying that I have all those qualities, but certainly these are qualities that I'll be looking for anybody who would be my leader, because I know sometimes the type of enormous pressures I come under, in handling some of the affairs of the party, And alhamdulillah, I have not cracked down. So I'll really be looking forward to having such a person.
So how have you been able to keep the party together? I mean, in the past, I have spoken to some people, and they often tell me, you are the uniting figure within the party. You keep everyone together. So how have you been able to do this? I mean, being on the opposition is always very challenging, especially in African politics. People don't have the patience. People want to move on to join the ruling party.
That is absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Let me say first, I mean, I'm very thankful to God, who, if I may say, who probably gives me the hikmah to really handle situations. But I think I've been able to really get the party united because of the enormous respect the membership of the party have for me, the high regard they have for me. And of course, I also try to reciprocate that I do not really betray their confidence. I do not betray their trust. I do not behave in ways that shows that I am the leader. No. My policy is, if I tell them in Mandinka, when you share a common objective, the proper thing to do is that there should be consultations all around. And Mr. Sis, I tell that, one thing that I try to do, and I would encourage anybody in the position of leadership, whether it's a women club or whatever, you do consultations with people that work with you.
And despite all this, I mean, we have seen some big wigs leaving the party, the likes of Mamadou Sabali, former campaign manager. They used to call him Babala Commando. Do you miss him? Do you miss seeing him around you?
Well, I really don't. Mr. Sise, I said, if Ibrahim Adiba leaves United Democratic Party today, it will shock me. And I'm not saying that I will not be able to overcome the shock, but it will take a while.
Why?
If Mojsedi Khan leaves the United Democratic Party, it will shock me and will take me time before I recover from it. Fatou Jani, Arademba, these are illiterate women. If those people leave United Democratic Party, I'll start thinking, well, I think something is fundamentally wrong. Mr. Sabari, he comes by me every time, in fact, I would say that, he virtually integrated in my family. But Mod Sabali is not in the same position as Ibrahim Adiba. Mod Sabali was APRC all along. Okay. He was APRC. And then, he decided to join UDP. But you see, our party, we believe in one thing, that a true United Democratic Party member does not leave United Democratic Party at all. So a true United Democratic member does not leave United Democratic Party.
Are you saying President Barrow wasn't a true?
No. I don't know, because if you remember, okay. I don't know whether you recall it. Ahmad Ba, in one of those, maybe it's on Guardian statement, said that there was a time that they wanted President Barrow to contest on their party platform. Ahmad Ba did say so. So really, some people saw opportunities in the United Democratic Party, and those opportunities, they came and exploited it and benefited from it. Thank God. Thank God that if you can remodel yourself within the United Democratic Party and become something less. Thank God.
Yeah, but here is someone that many we have heard him say, President Barrow saying he had served as treasurer in the party. At some point, he was even financing
that is absolutely
the party.
wrong. That is
so how can someone who is not a true supporter of the party do all that?
That is a misleading statement. President Barrow has never financed the United Democratic Party. That is misleading the Gambian people. I mean, he was talking to people who could not engage him, who could not challenge him. President Barrow won't sit here, face me, and make such a misleading statement. With all due respect to the high office that he holds. And I think people, when you hold certain positions in society, there are certain things you should really avoid saying. Things that are absolutely unfounded. Because you invite reactions that are really unbefitting to the office that you hold. But I say it's misleading, it's not true. Look, if he was financing that, why would he during the period that even there was a coalition, why would he be asking for whether some monies have come from diaspora, asking for Karim Toure in particular? And he himself stated that how much Karim Toure did. In 2007, the United Democratic Party paid his deposit before we decided to withdraw.
When he constituted as National Assembly?
Yeah, when we decided to withdraw. Because when we decided to withdraw, of course, I mean, he also withdrew his candidature. We paid for him. If the millionaire that he claims to be, if he was, he would have paid his own deposit. But he never did this. So I'm saying that, no, honestly, I think the high office that he holds, he should really be very mindful of what he says. He should say things that, when he's challenged, he'll not be found to be wanting in really being honest.
Thank you very much. That's the leader of the United Democratic Party, who is my guest this week on the State of Affairs program. We'll go with a short break, and when we return, we will discuss. We will look at other pressing issues affecting the country. Of course, the issue of corruption, high cost of living, and of course, the draft constitution. Do stay tuned, and we'll be back soon.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25. Yes! Recharge $25 and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. You're watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and this is your weekly State of Affairs program. I'm your host, Ali Ousainou, and my guest this week is the leader of the United Democratic Party, lawyer Ousainou Darboe. Honorable, welcome back from that short break. I mean, how do you see the direction, the country is taking at the moment?
Well, see, in my address at Congress, I said the country was going in the wrong direction. So when countries move in wrong direction, it has to be redirected. The proper to do is to change the course of direction, put it, in fact, to really reset the country. That is what Gambia needs. Everything in this country is going wrong. Of course, you have the spin doctors, who will really try to make things look rosy and nice, but when in actual fact, things are not going in the right direction.
But the central government will say, they have brought about, infrastructure development, they're building schools and all those things.
We'll come to that. Let me come. First, I have never heard where this budget was presented to the National Assembly and it goes without debate. It has only happened, and that shows the wrong direction this country is going. The members of the National Assembly have denied themselves the opportunity to really debate on that budget, show, the shortcomings of that budget, show what should be done in that budget. It has never happened in the history of this country. So that shows fundamentally the wrong directions in which this country is going. Never has it happened in any country. And of course, that also shows the misuse of the majority power. That is showing the tyranny of the majority. Because they constitute the majority in the National Assembly, so they pass a motion.
But they had bilaterals where institutions will come and face the concerned committee to justify their budget. Isn't that enough?
Otherwise, what was the need for the standing orders to have clause that those major government measures? It's a major government measure, goes undebated, that you come before committees. The public are deprived of the opportunity of hearing what their National Assembly members say on these things. After all, if it's coming for any committee, it will probably be the FPAC committee, which every member of the National Assembly is not a member of. Yeah. Not all members of the National Assembly.
It's a 9-member committee.
It's a 9-member committee. So that shows the wrong direction in which this country is going. It's probably going to happen when it comes to the next SONA, where they say there's no need to debate on the president's State of the Nation address.
But what's your take on the salary increment which been introduced in the budget? 30%?
Well, I hear that is what is going to happen. That there'll be 30% increase, and what I'm saying, what is justification? I agree that there are some poorly paid government employees. They have to be looked after. Even $5,000 is not sufficient for them, because a bag of rice is $2,250. So you take that off of $5,000, half of the salary is gone. Other needs are not addressed. So even $5,000 is not sufficient.
Is that a recipe for corruption then?
It's not only a recipe for corruption, but it's also a recipe for inefficiency, for unproductivity. Look, a man leaves his house, in the middle of the month. He has $5,000. He leaves by the middle of the month. The $5,000 is gone. When he goes to work, he abandons his office to go and look for something for his family. And that affects his productivity, affects efficiency. There would be no delivery. So it's not just corruption, but also it leads to inefficiency and unproductivity.
So if UDP happens to come into power, how are you going to address these concerns? Cost of living, corruption.
We'll have a minimum wages. Low minimum wages, and honestly, I'll tell you, the political class will not be the beneficiary of salary increments. Look, this is a privilege for you to be elected as a member of the National Assembly. It's a privilege. You have thousands of people, probably more competent than you, more capable than you. And out of the lot, you have been given the privilege to represent the people. The ministers, how many competent people do you have in this country who can serve as ministers? And of that whole lot, you've been selected and privileged to serve in that position. The same thing for president. And you say, look, elect me because I want to be your servant. I want to have service to you. Should you use that position to really build your personal health, your personal wealth? No, it shouldn't be. When we form a government, the political class will not enjoy those type of things. Those who are really there doing the work, who toil day and night, those nurses, those teachers, those policemen, they will be the people that we look after so that we can move our country. They are the people who are really moving the country. Those nurses, those teachers, those policemen. Those ones at the top. I mean, the finished work, product comes to them and they just pass it. But the ones who do the work are those foot soldiers. So they are the ones who have to be real, who have really to be looked after and looked at properly.
How about the cost of living?
The cost of living, you'll have to address first, your food security. You'll have to address that. You'll have to produce. We have to really. When Yahya Jammeh said go back to the land, it was for me. We are just telling the Gambian people what really is obvious. It's nothing new. It's nothing new at all. So we must really pay attention to the the agricultural industry. We must pay attention to it. Food production, we must produce food in abundance. And Gambia, when you talk of food production, our focus is on rice. And I don't think it should only be on rice. You have sorghum, maize, other types of food. In fact, types of food now that are really in this day of diabetes, those are types that we should really be eating more than rice. I think we should really focus on producing enough food ourselves. And we must also make sure that we put our economy on the right footing. We must make sure that our dalasi is stable, is stabilized.
It's depreciating at a very...
Because the depreciation of the dalasi is affecting the prices in the market. It's not when people say businessmen are, they are wicked. I sometimes sympathize with them. You don't order this bottle for $5, and at the date of the order, the $5 is $30. But 2 weeks after, the $5 is $70. How do you expect me to repay? We're not saying that should be a justification for some unscrupulous businesses, but we have to make sure that our dalasi is really stable.
So where do you think the Barrow's government is doing well?
Well, I want to ask him. Where he's doing well.
Well, they said, they are constructing roads. They are constructing a major hospital at Farato. They have built the University of the Gambia.
No, they did the University of the Gambia. I think Yahya Jammeh built the University of Gambia.
But the infrastructure was constructed under Barrow, he.
Oh, you mean the campus?
Yeah, the campus in Faraba.
Okay, the campus. Yeah. Well, yes, of course. The thing is that Will
you say they are doing well in that aspect?
Look, the point is that every university, as far as I know, if it doesn't have a campus, it's not a university. So the campus must have been part of the university project. You can't have a university without a campus because then you're really not leading a student life. I think students who live in campus, they really enjoy their student days in the university. Yeah? So,
let me
just deal with this infrastructure. Mr. Sise, no one can dispute the fact that roads have been built, and when I say roads have been built, the OIC roads have been constructed, and some are said to be under construction. But I ask myself, the people in Kololi or in Kirsiri, how beneficial to them are these roads? In fact, sometimes you find the construction so awkward that you have to drive maybe 2 or 3 miles before you can take a turn. But apart from that, the awkwardness of construction, these roads that have been constructed, how has it made the cost of living lower for the people of Bijulo, for the people of Kersirin, for the people of Kololi? How has it affected the cost of living? How has it improved the health delivery services in those areas? Has it? So I think I absolutely agree that roads need to be constructed, but first attend to the needs of the people. The basic needs of the people, attend to that. The bread and butter issue, address that.
But if you go to the provinces, most of the people, I mean, what they will always complain about is a lack of good road networks, electricity, and now the government is saying by the end of this year, I mean, there is going to be universal access to electricity.
Yeah,
I think these are basic necessities.
Yes. If you go to rural areas, you hear those meetings. You know what happens. All these meetings, they arrange people. Look, Jalamang, you will say this. Bakari, you will say this, and then you will say that. That is what happens.
But isn't that the same, Honorable? Because I'm sure no one will come to a UDP rally and then you'll be pressing A.N.M Barrow. I think it's the same way. I mean, when also Barrow goes on tour, people who comes there, they're always telling what he wants to hear.
No. What I'm saying is when people say, people in the rural areas, people say that we want roads, we want electricity. I say, look, people are arranged. Those are stage managed. They arrange people who will come and say, look, this is what we need. This is what we need.
When they know, how do you know this?
Yes, we live. We know. When really, people are saying, look, we are hungry, and that is truth. We are hungry. We really want to have, the ability to put 3 square meals, on the table. I don't think any Gambian child should go to bed hungry. And there are a lot of Gambian children who go to bed hungry. The Gambia is about 50% food poor, which is really, very, I'm lacking word, but which I don't think, should happen in this age. You did mention hospitals. I agree. Recently we've seen clinics open all over the country. By the way, I did say that certainly honoring Sheriff Mustafa Diba was the biggest thing that anybody can do. But I think the biggest way to honor Sheriff Mustafa Diba is fight corruption. That is what that man has fought for in this country. So fought against corruption.
Are you saying the government is not doing enough to fight corruption?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
But they have passed an anti-corruption law.
Have they appointed the commissioner since 31st of December 2023, when the law was assented to by President A.N.M Barrow. Still now we are in 2025. You do not have the commissioners appointed. Any serious government that is mindful of fighting corruption would have appointed the commissioners.
Honorable, let's now move on, because we're running out of time. Let's now move on to something very pertinent, the draft constitution. You have said that the United Democratic Party is going to vote against the, like you put it, the Barrow's draft 2024 constitution. Do you still stand by this?
Well, I still stand by it.
Okay. Why?
Since 1996, the United Democratic Party has been fighting for a constitution that limits the powers of the president. The United Democratic Party has been fighting for a constitution that takes care of the Gambian people's aspirations for proper governance. That has always been what the United Democratic Party has been fighting for. In our fight for that, some of us were exiled. Some of us were incarcerated here, beaten, tortured. And some of us, as a result of the torture, died. And some of us, when we left prison, few weeks after we died, they died. All died because we want to have a good constitution for the Gambia. And the CRC Act was passed. When it was passed, everybody thought that, well, Gambia is now on the right trajectory. We are now going to have a good constitution. men of integrity, men of knowledge, men of experience, let me say men and women of integrity and of knowledge and of commitment and patriotism were identified and selected to become commissioners to help in crafting a new constitution of the Gambia. And they just didn't go sit down there. Some of them to say that, well, I'm a lawyer, you know, I'll get a constitution from this country, another, and then try to see how you harmonize them. But carried out extensive consultations with the political class,
outside the country,
with the political class, as well as with the ordinary citizens of the country, and also consultations with the Gambians in diaspora, and also had the advantage of looking at the constitutions of other countries, and came out with a constitution that reasonably responded, or a draft that reasonably responded to the aspirations of the Gambian people. And this was rejected by Barrow's acolytes in National Assembly.
Isn't this a ping-pong game between the UDP and the NPP? Because the 2020 draft, when it comes, I mean, you voted 800%, NPP voted against it. And now it is coming, NPP is saying they're going in for it, and the UDP is saying no, we are voting against it.
We are siding with the Gambian people. Okay. We are not having any ping-pong with NPP. We are siding with the Gambian people. That is the constitution that the Gambian people want. And we are siding with the Gambian people, and we will continue to side with the Gambian people. Even currently, people are saying that the Barrow draft has not received the consultations that it should have. So we are siding with the Gambia. There is no ping-pong.
So the executive didn't consult you as a party leader?
Me?
Yeah.
The executive never consulted me as a party leader. And I challenge them. I challenge all of them. No member of the executive has approached the United Democratic Party. I know that. I attended 1 or 2 meetings in Abuja. I think 1 meeting in Abuja, which was facilitated by the IDEA and under the leadership of His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan. Yeah. But the executive was not there. It was all the political party, only political party that were there. So that I was really flabbergasted when I had Honorable Minister said that they went there, all the political leaders all sat there, and they had projectors, and going through the Constitution clause by clause, which was absolutely incorrect. In the first place, it will be demeaning to me for anybody to sit me down. You say you're putting the Constitution of the Gambia on the screen and going through it with me, clause by clause. I'll find that very demeaning, very insulting. I do not claim to know more than anybody the Constitution of this country. But I say that nobody knows the Constitution of this country more than me. But don't you think? Just hold on. I just want to say that statement by the Honorable Minister was quite incorrect. There was no consultations from the executive with at least with my party. The executive never consulted me.
So many are arguing that, the UDP should allow the draft to get to the consideration stage where they will get to hear your views and perhaps make some amendments.
What we are saying, the constitution that the Gambian people spend $116 million on, bring that to the National Assembly, take it to the committee stage, and let anyone have his or her comments. And then let it pass. That is that is the constitution of the Gambia. So I am siding with the people of the Gambia. There is no ping-pong game between UDP and NPP at all.
Thank you very much. That's the leader of the United Democratic Party, lawyer Ousainou Darboe, who was my guest on the State of Affairs program this week. Honorable, thank you so much for granting me your time. I'm quite honored. It was just a phone call and you agreed to come and join me on the program. I'm quite grateful. Thank you so much, Honorable. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to this week's edition of your weekly State of Affairs program. Do join me next week. Until then, bye-bye from me and the entire production team.
Thank you.